Good evening, Mayor, Councillors, City staff, members of the public. My name is Matthew Bailey-Dick, and I live here in Uptown Waterloo with my wife and 3 children. Tonight, I'm acting as a spokesperson for the Waterloo Hen Association. At a Waterloo Council meeting in April of 2009, a motion was put forward to include a modified Schedule D to the Animal Control Bylaw, which would have regulated urban hens in Waterloo. After lengthy discussion, this motion was defeated because of a tie vote, 4 in favour and 4 against. Nevertheless, and reflecting the fact that the fundamental issue was not resolved, Council then quickly devised a plan to grandfather registered hen keepers for a 2-year period, at which point the issue of urban hens was to be revisited. This brings us to tonight's meeting. The purpose of this presentation is twofold. First, to talk about what's been happening with hens in Waterloo, and second, to put forward a request for amending the Animal Control Bylaw so that people who want to become responsible hen keepers can do so. As background information, the Waterloo Hen Association formed in 2008. Since then, our goals have been to work together with City of Waterloo Council and staff to create a new regulatory bylaw for small-scale hen keeping within the city, and to promote responsible and healthy practices for keeping hens. At the present time, the association includes about 160 members, most of whom eagerly support urban hens, though choose not to keep hens themselves. So why choose to keep hens in urban areas? Here are just a few reasons. To produce healthy food on a small scale, similar to urban gardening. To build local food security, and to enjoy the fun and responsibility of pet ownership. So what has been happening with hens in Waterloo since 2009? First of all, what's been happening is pretty similar to what's been happening with most dogs and cats in the city. That is, hens have been hanging out and acting their animal selves like any other pet in the city. And hen keepers have been acting like most other pet owners. They care for their pets and they act in a neighborly way, by doing what they can to make their pets the source of enjoyment rather than annoyance. The hens certainly have been giving enjoyment, and they have also been giving eggs. In this photo, my daughter on the right-hand side is holding the very first egg laid by our chickens. Across the city, we are now looking back on 2 years of fantastic omelets and spectacular baked goods, none of which made the news because they were made with eggs that were laid routinely, in chicken coops that have become routine in a small number of backyards. This is the glory and the simplicity of local food, whether in backyard gardens or backyard coops. As for the many people who could not imagine how on earth one could keep hens in the city, fears are put to rest when these chicken coops can be seen as just another ordinary part of urban living for a few households here and there. What has become clear is that hens are a normal part of the urban landscape, and responsible hen keeping has meant that there have been almost no instances when a neighbor felt an urge to complain. Secondly, our hen keepers group has been meeting over the last 2 years. We have compared notes, learned from each other's experiences, and inspected each other's chicken coops. Perhaps most importantly, we have taken our work seriously in terms of what we put forward in 2009. Those who were on council at that time will remember our threefold plan. First, to put together a hen keeper's resource booklet. Second, to organize informative workshops on hen keeping. And third, to hold the first annual chicken coop tour. Last year we started the hen keeper's resource booklet, and that is a work in progress. In 2010, we did indeed hold the first annual Waterloo Chicken Coop Tour. On a beautiful Saturday in June, 5 backyards were open to the public, and the number of visitors to each coop ranged from 40 to 115. We also had a temporary setup with hens inside a small coop at the public square, and this generated a great deal of excitement from passers-by. Both the KW Record newspaper and CTV News provided quite positive coverage of the event. In our backyard, visitors were mostly enchanted, or else they were dumbfounded at why there had been such a big fuss about hens in the city. This year, we plan to hold the second annual Waterloo Chicken Coop Tour. We have also worked to organize a series of hen-keeping workshops with expert facilitators. We are pleased to have our first workshop scheduled for 2 weeks from today. The facilitators that evening will be 2 veterinarians, both graduates from the Ontario Veterinary College at the University of Guelph. These workshops will be attended by members of our group, as well as by those who are interested to become hen keepers in the future. We want to move forward, not only with our experience, but also with continuing education provided by specialists. We also want to move forward with you, Mayor, Councillors, and City staff, because you play a key role in providing leadership and organizational structure within our community. We appreciate the work you have done so far. You listened when citizens called for a proactive hen bylaw. You gathered community input, both for and against. You received written submissions from veterinary science professors, from a councillor in another city where hens are regulated, and from regional public health. And you did the work of setting up what has become, in effect, a 2-year pilot project to test what the reality of urban hens would look like. And you set a reasonable time frame to revisit the issue in 2011. It's time to be decisive about this issue. This is not only the time for receiving statistics about the number of complaints and the number of registered hens. This is the time to move ahead, based on the evidence of the last 2 years, based on the written submissions in the Council packet from 2009, and based on the opinion of the majority of Waterloo citizens. On this point, we must respectfully and vigorously disagree with the concluding sentence of the staff report. There is indeed overwhelming reason to amend the bylaw to reflect the positive reality of the last 2 years, and to respond to those who are wanting to keep hens now, but who didn't have a chance to register during those few months in the spring of 2009. To be clear, there won't be hundreds of people clamoring to get hens, but there will be a small number of people stepping forward on an ongoing basis. Therefore, our group requests an amendment to the Animal Control Bylaw by adopting a modified version of Schedule D. Based on the learnings of Waterloo hen keepers, as well as on the examples from other cities that have chicken bylaws, we have put together a modified draft of this Schedule D for your consideration. The basic framework remains the same: to encourage healthy and responsible hen keeping on a small scale, and to prevent problems in practical ways, like prohibiting roosters, keeping feed in closed metal containers, and maintaining a clean chicken coop. At bare minimum, the current registration framework should be expanded to allow for more participants. With appropriate safeguards in place, there is no reason to hold back. We can allow hens in this city, and everything will be okay. Then Waterloo will join many other cities that have chickens: Vancouver, Victoria, Burnaby, Niagara Falls, as well as U.S. cities like Seattle, Portland, and New York City. Just as one example, this is the Vancouver City Government's website dedicated to backyard hens, including lots of information, such as this official city document that offers 6 full pages on basic chicken care. And here is their backyard hen registry form. Very simple, very straightforward. Vancouver is making it work. At the end of the day, a relatively small number of hens should become just another part of the urban landscape. Last year, I took this photo in our backyard, and it shows my son working near the middle of the frame. Around him are some routine components of urban living: a play structure, some comfy chairs, a chicken coop in the back left corner, a garden, some beautiful zinnias, some blueberry bushes in the top right-hand corner, and if we had a dog, it would probably be lying back there in the grass. All such things can coexist. So in conclusion, Waterloo is known for growth, opportunity, partnership, and excellence. Mayor Halloran and councillors, you play a key role in how we earn this reputation. The Waterloo Hen Association says to you tonight, let's move ahead. Thank you.